Testing, 1, 2. Testing, 1, 2. Let me know if you can hear me. You had to scratch that earlier stuff. So, can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Hit 1 if you can hear me. Hit 2 if you still can't hear me. You hear me? All right, cool. All right, I was saying peace and shalom, family. It's your brother DivineProspect here at Kingdom Harbinger Ministries. Kingdom Harbinger Ministries is the channel, is the mission, is the vision, is the movement, everything that the Most High needs from His children. We are trying our best to provide it via this vehicle called KHM. We are the heralds for the King to come and the harbingers to prepare the people to meet the King. In the interim, our people are in bad shape, and it's our job to get them in shape so that they can prepare for the times to come. And that is done through culture, community, and autonomy. This is a pop-up session I'm doing here on Thursday evening. This was unplanned. A lot of my previous sessions have been pop-up sessions because of the immense amount of responsibility and work and other things I have to do on the back end. But next year is looking much brighter. Should have more time, more bandwidth to provide more content, more lectures, get the classes up and running ASAP, and give you more consistent Freestyle Friday sessions, right, that you guys know and love, right? So I appreciate all y'all for hanging with me and KHM through this tumultuous ride that we've been on, trying to produce content in the midst of a whole bunch of responsibilities, right? So thank you guys for your patience. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for your encouragement. I appreciate it. We are here to edify, equip, educate, empower, and elevate our people. You know what I'm saying? And if we don't do it, who will? You know what I'm saying? There's so much going on in current events. We see the sign of the times, and the writing is on the wall, right? So we have to get into action, get the work done, right? So that's just where we at right now. Just wanted to check in with you guys. I'm not going to be on for too long, but I just want to check in with you guys. How you doing? As you're coming on in, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in. Also, make sure you guys are sharing this video. Share this video everywhere, right? All social media platforms, share this video so we can get more people on the content. And also subscribe if you're brand new or if you've been, stalking or lurking for some time, hit subscribe. Even you haters, even the trolls, we need you guys to subscribe. You can even thumb down the video if you don't like it. It's fine. Just interact, right? That's the most important thing. And over time, our objective, if it's Yah's will per venture, is to win you over. Win you over not to what it is that we're saying, but the spirit that Yah has given us to connect with you, right? Because even the haters and the trolls are stirred up when information comes across the screen. All praise to the Most High. Grateful for you guys. Keep me on my toes. Have me cross my T's and dot my I's. And y'all are faithfully committed to watching this channel. All praise to the Most High. All right, family. So let's go ahead and do our roll call, our check-in with those of you who are in the audience. And then after that, we'll get the show started. Like I said, we're not going to be on here for too long. Let me see who we got in the building. We got Get Wise, Shalom, Israel, Young Lion, Shalom, Zen, Humara, Shalom, Jazz Evans, Shalom, Kayat Houston, Shalom, Eli Madkin, Shalom, Wide Awake, Shalom, Jeremiah 29:5, Shalom, Heron Edwards, Shalom, Big Chief Prince Vision, Shalom, Mother Leslie Fields, Shalom. Let's see who else we got. Sister Santawan, Shalom, Ariel, Shalom, Sister V Love, Shalom, JT Preacher, Shalom, Damon Williamson, Shalom, the Black Carib, Shalom, King, Shalom. So the packages that some of y'all have won, they're still here with me. I didn't get a chance to actually ship them out because so much has been going on, but you have my word. That is my objective for next week. Since this is a so-called Thanksgiving holiday, and being that I don't have much work to do next week, you will see my face a lot. And you guys can expect your packages. It's probably going to come after the holidays, quote unquote, but you guys will get it. We still have 2 more giveaways to do, one on Patreon and one here on this channel. I don't know if I'm going to do it today or if I'm going to do it next time we go live, but we do have one more giveaway for you guys that I know you guys are going to enjoy. which is another arrow garden. We have another arrow garden that we're going to give out. So you guys have no excuse not to feed yourselves. Okay. And the one that we're giving out on the Patreon is the Cultural Background Study Bible. Okay. We're going to give that one out on the Patreon. So make sure you guys just sign up for the Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. You'll see it scrolling across the screen at the bottom. All right. Make sure you guys sign up. We always put content on there. There's almost 1,000 items, 1,000 posts on there. We also have items that you can purchase, digital products that you can purchase on there as well, right? Just click on the shop button and see what we got there for you guys. All right. Thank you for the love and support as always, family. Shout out to Sebastian, Jakeem in the building, Bishop Marcial, Shalom, Lisa Marie Anderson, Shalom, Shalom, Stanley Phil, Shalom. The Black Curry says, where my lots at? Oh, if you're older lot set, I do have some here. Just hit us up in the email so my admins can get it, file it, and we can make sure we get it out to you. Or I can just give it to you in person. You know what I'm saying? So just let me know. Let me know, Ak, all right? All right. So what I've been doing the past couple of days up until tomorrow is preparation for heading out to Tampa, Florida for the Hebrews to Negroes conference. You can go to the negronetwork.com for more details. We shared this on the previous live stream. We will be heading out there early morning on Saturday, only because I got to work up into the Shabbat, and we won't be able to leave because I had to get rest and preparing everything in the evening. So we're going to leave first thing in the morning. So those of you who will be out there in Tampa, we'll see you there. Right. Hopefully you guys enjoy the 2-day conference. And any of you guys, if y'all are vending there, let me know as well so I can come to your table and patronize. We was gonna vend, but it was just a lot getting all our items prepared. We just do vend, but it won't be with our physical items, right? So I'll bring a tablet or something along, and if people's interested, they can definitely get a couple of items. But obviously, we won't be doing that until after the Shabbat on the Sabbath, right? So just a heads up on that. So I don't know who else is going out there, but look forward to seeing you guys there. And that's been a lot of our preparation the past couple of days, and even today, been real busy trying to get prepared, and tomorrow trying to get prepared. So it's been a lot. Hopefully everything goes well at this event. Look forward to meeting some of y'all there. All praise to the Most High. You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you for that, my brother. I appreciate that. My brother James in the building. All right. Hopefully you're doing well, Aki. Hopefully you're doing well. Shout out to sister Work of Her Hands. Nice meeting you recently, sis. So hopefully you enjoy the content on this channel. Anything that I can share to encourage others to be able to divest what Yah has invested into them to their audience by means of verbal acuity, being able to speak in a manner in which you're able to convey the passions and interests that Yah has placed on your heart that will edify, encourage, entertain at times, empower, and equip our people as they go along this journey with Yah. And as long as He has us in His hands, we're holding His hand. That's a Sabbath message I wrote. I didn't even get to do the video yet. Holding his hand. That's actually scripture. Holding Yah's hand is scripture. So he can guide us through those times in which we need him. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's the beauty of this walk, right? Knowing when to hold his hand and knowing when you're mature enough to walk across the street yourself and make your daddy proud. All right. Hold on one second, y'all. 1 second. All right. Are you on any panel discussions? No, I did not get any VIP treatment. I have not been invited to speak. I have not been invited on no panel discussions. I was in 2019, but for whatever reason, I haven't been this time around, and I'm okay with that. It's not a big deal, right? Most of the time, I like playing in the audience anyway, right? And just enjoying like everybody else. So, if they ask me to, I'm down. If not, it's okay. It's not the end of the world, right? I'm there for the people. I'm not really there for to really like show out or anything like that. I'm there for the people. That's the main reason why I'm going there, is because I want to see you guys. I want to interact with the people, right? Support Ron Dalton and his work, as well as the artist is going to be there and the other speakers and so forth. I'm just here to support the community, and that's what I do, right? Community is part of our tagline of KHM, and if we're not in these streets and we're not where the people are at, then we fail to do our job. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm going out there, mostly for the people and to support the winning team, which is the Israelites, man. We winning. You know what I'm saying? By Yah's grace and mercy, we winning. And that is the issue that the enemy has, because out of us there arises plenty of black messiahs that's going to herald the coming of Yah and set the stage for us to meet the king, right? And to create our Goshens, so we have that secure place, that refuge in the midst of judgment. So that way, once that is over, he can take us into the wilderness, allure us once more. We can fall back in love with Yah, and he can bring us back into the land once he cleanses it of all its unrighteousness and abomination, so that we may dwell in it safely. What we have over there in Israel today is not the fulfillment of prophecy. It's the fulfillment of man's prophecy. It is leading up to the end times and the things that are to come. All right. So hopefully see you guys there tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Done Saturday. Hopefully see you guys there Saturday for the event. Won't be able to make it tomorrow because I got to work and do some last minute errand running. So won't be able to make it there Friday, but I'll be there Saturday. All right. All right. I'm a little sleepy, so just forgive me, right? Regardless, I was gonna push through and get on this live anyway and talk to you guys. So I'm here. I'm here. All right. So let me see. What's going on? Y'all asking questions already. I didn't even give no updates or nothing like that. So let's get into it. Have you checked out the Complete Jewish Bible? If so, what do you think of it so far? The Complete Jewish Bible. Do I have that? I don't know. I have so many resources. Let me see. Complete Jewish Bible. I don't think so. No, I don't have this. I don't have it, but I'll get it. I'll get it probably this weekend. But no, I don't have it. What I do have is another version that I prefer. And that's on the Patreon as well. That is the Jewish Study Bible Second Edition by the Jewish Publication Society, Tanakh Translation, and the Jewish Annotated New Testament. Those are my favorites right now. We're going to use the term Jewish. Those are my two favorites. Those are my go-to resources. Great sources in those, and I recommend them for everybody. And again, you can get your own by looking at it on our library, on our Patreon, or you can go and purchase it for yourself from Amazon if you want a hard copy. Okay. All right. So hopefully that answered your question right there. Drose. Shout out to Maria in the building. Ben David. Let's see. Thoughts on the most literal translation of Tanakh, even if that winds up being a Christian Bible. I find the YLT to be pretty fair with the text, but the present tense reads oddly sometimes. It sure does. It does. And the reason why is because there is no literal present tense in Hebrew. You have the perfect and imperfect, right? Either one of them could refer to the present tense. It depends on syntax, grammar, and context. But that is probably the difficulty you're going to face in regards to translations. They're not going to be 100% on that. Also, even the parsing out of Hebrew verbs, like the heathfil or the heathpael, will be kind of difficult as well, right? So you can only get but so literal. You're still going to miss things in translation because they're two diametrically opposed languages. That comes along with the territory translation. This is why I read a lot of UBS material, because this is what they major in, right? Translations, right? And showing you how to translate. This is why whenever they have their helps resources, which I've spoken about before, the one that I talked about, their Realia book, their Fauna book, and their Flora book, it all helps you with interpreting the text, right? They also have one in Hebrew poetry that I began reading again. I didn't finish it yet, but it's an excellent source, right? Getting to look at the intricacies of poetry and how to break it down, right? In a meaningful manner that is palatable, that can be digested and understood, right? So that is what it is. But yeah, you're never gonna have even a little translation is gonna have some difficulties because some things are not translatable. For example, the direct object marker it you can't translate that in English because English has no need for a direct object marker, right? So certain things are just not going to translate over, unfortunately. All right. But great question. Appreciate that. Um, Cultural background translation you prefer? So I have it in the NIV only because it reads more fluidly because it is a dynamic equivalency translation. So you have a dynamic equivalency translation, which means that the translators sat down and say, okay, the best way that we want to convey the message of the original attested text is in a thought for thought fashion. So that way it can be easily understood by the recipient audience, right? As opposed to a formal equivalency translation is more word for word as much as possible, right? So formal equivalency would be like your ASV, your KJV, your NKJV, your NASB, your ESV, right? Your RSV, right? These are on that spectrum of formal equivalency, and then dynamic equivalency would be like your Message Bible, which is like far on the left of that, and then you have your NLT, your NIV, and your several ones that's in that gamut range right there as well, right? So, um, what I say is that if you're not interested in learning the original languages, which I strongly encourage that you do, then what you want to do at least is get a parallel Bible, typically one that is software based because it's easier to see, where you get to see the various translations side by side and be able to determine for yourself what is actually occurring in the underlying text, right? But I urge you to learn the original language, even if you got to take first year Hebrew and Greek and stop there. That's better than nothing. You know what I'm saying? So definitely get into the language. All right. Hey, Thea P, I would love to debate Dr. Ray Hagan. He put out a money challenge about 10 years ago, and I responded to it with a video, and he never responded. I reached out to him, my team reached out to him. He never returned our calls, our messages, our emails, anything like that. So if you have a connection with Dr. Ray Higgins, then yeah, I'm more than happy to have a debate with him. I would love to do that, right? Whatever topic he want to deal with, dealing with the Bible, we could deal with Kemet as well, right? He has a lot of hiccups and issues with the stuff that he puts out. I mean, it's designed to draw you in emotionally, right, and to stir you up just like a pastor does, because he used to be a pastor. So his technique and form is something that I've seen before and thoroughly familiar with it. But a lot of information that he's been saying is just SMH. I'm gonna leave it at that. But if you do know him and you can get it set up, tell him I'm down. Let him know I'm down. All right. Let me see. Let's see. Shout out to Jill C in the building. Shalom, sis. How you doing? What's going on? My brother Hassad Sakai in the building. What's going on, young king? What's going on? See you slaying them on the other side. All praise to the most high. Shout out to Gene and J Rod. Shalom, my brother. Shalom. All right. So let's see. Have you heard a so-called genetics guy from the country community saying that the Tariq al-Fatash in West Africa was written to make people feel like they're from the East? Yes, I've heard that. I don't know if you're referring to Ngozi. Is that who you're talking about? Ngozi. There are three manuscripts of the Tariq al-Fatash, three different manuscripts, textual variants between them. But the one that actually attests to Jews migrating from the East is the ones that they typically slam on. And the reason for that is because of the confirmation bias of the African Jewry community, which is a bunch of academics who already have a preconceived notion and a bias that African Jewry is not authentic, right? So they do attack that Tariq al-Fatash manuscript C, it is, I believe, from memory, that they attack, where they try to disprove it as being inauthentic, so that way it has no relevancy, right? So we can only assume and speculate in regards to what was the motive behind it, right? We see the intentions for what was written. For what the motives behind it, is no sister commentary to kind of give us more insight. But yes, I've heard of that. right? I've heard people say that before. It has been there are proponents on both sides of the coin, so it's all in how you take a look at it. So anyway, interesting talking about that. I see your question aside. One of those references is what Israel Young Lion just referenced, the Tariq al-Fatash. I actually discussed that in a lecture I did back in 2018. And I mentioned it on several live streams. I also have all those resources on the Patreon in regards to Jews and migration to West Africa. You have to look up Black Jews. Black Jews is the terminology that's used to designate that populace of people in West Central Africa who they identify as being Jews. Right now, whether their Jewry is because of conversion or it's because of migration from the East is another discussion in itself altogether. Right, but there is over 30 something references in regards to that. Now, one source of that I would say, and shout out to oh man, I forgot the brother's name, Dante Fortson. Shout out to brother Dante Fortson. He put together a website called Black History in the Bible. I think that's what it is. Let me see. Dante Fortson. Where is his website? Here it is. I think this is it right here. Yep. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna share this link for you here. I'm gonna drop that link there in the chat for you, so you can definitely pull some stuff from there aside. Right there. And also on my Patreon, I do have resources in regards to Black Jews. All you got to do is go to the Patreon, type in Black Jews, and you get a wealth of resources on there. Right. And those are the things that I have in my upcoming lecture that I'm doing, Yah willing, next year as a follow up to my 2018 lecture in regards to Black Jews in Western Central Africa and then making their way over here to the Americas. Okay. There's also some books that I recommend as well. Let's see. Okay, so you have this one here called Jews and Judaism in African History. This is written by Professor Richard Hull. Now, in this book, he identifies the Jews as being estranged to the indigenous Africans in Western Central Africa. However, he does collate very well the history, the documented history that we have of Jews in Western Central Africa and in other regions as well, South Africa as well. He talks about it in here. But he also talks about how those so-called Jews, right, whether they're authentic or not, were involved in the slave trade, transatlantic slave trade, right? So his perspective is just he takes the actual source material and he puts it in a narrative form, right? So it's not he's an academic, but this is designed for like the layman to read, right? But it is academic information in here. There is an extensive bibliography in here as well, right? Because he is an academic, so he still has irregardless of his writing style for this particular work, he is an academic, so he does have a great, well-referenced bibliography in there. But if you just want to get a good gist of Jews in Africa, this is a great go-to source, right? And a lot of opponents to those who identify as Israelites would use these sources in order to combat the fact that Jews that were in Africa were not authentic Jews. They were Jews by conversion. And the challenge that I always put out is that if they were Jews of conversion, number one, which known Jewish groups recognized and identified them? And two, do you have a itemized list of their customs, practices, and mannerisms in order to discern who converted them? And I've yet to get any of those two questions answered, right? But nevertheless, it is what it is. Shout out to my brother John and Dorsey in the building. Shalom, King. Pray all is well. My brother, the Most High Child Shia Rala. What's going on, King? Shalom, shalom. You heard what he said. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. So that way you can get all of this content. We can put it all throughout the atmosphere on YouTube. We can get the algorithm, put it in the headlock, slap it upside the head, like the Asian community did Biden, in order for them to get laws passed to protect them from hate crimes. Do the same thing and force it to do the work for us on behalf of the Most High Yah Spirit. Hallelujah. All right. All right. All right. I got a few more minutes. Any other questions you guys got? Shout out to Jacolia Jim in the building. Shalom, sis. I see you. Aiden Eli, shalom. I think I gave you a shalom as well. Let me see. Trey Waters says, shalom. How did Yahweh bring you into the truth? And do you see yourself staying in the truth forever? All right. Well, my intention is to be in the truth forever, right? That's my goal. What I'm also going to do, oh man, and it's because I'm being asked to do this. Brother Yasharalam, remember Brother Yasharalam? You know, that brother that did those videos back in like the early 2010s. And he made these videos where he was exposing the truth about who the real Jews is and that we are Israelites and the whole cover-up system and the 13th tribe, Khazarians, and all of that. You know, he has another channel where he's debunking all the stuff that he had put out previously. And now what he's doing is he's grabbing information from the Black conscious community and using that to disprove the Bible. It's very interesting. Thoughts Camera Action did a whole series on this brother. You know what I'm saying? And he took Gerald Massey's work, who is a Mason, by the way, and said that in order to understand the Bible, you have to see it through Gerald Massey's lens. It's fascinating. I'm gonna do a whole counter series to Brother Yashua. And if Brother Yashralam is interested in a formal debate, I'm willing to debate him. Y'all put the word out there and let him know that the APB is out to, I'm not going to say APB, the warrant is out. A warrant is out for Brother Yashralam. I love that brother, man. I just feel bad that he didn't have really good oversight. You know what I'm saying? Let him know that Divine Prospect would love to have a sit-down discussion and or debate. It's whatever. Right? So to the individual who asked me about Dr. Ray Higgins, I want the smoke. Let him know I want the smoke. Brother Yashralam, I don't want to call it smoke. I just want to talk to the brother because where he's at right now is only as a result. And this happens to a lot of Israelites. When you don't have good discipleship from a well-researched, a thorough teacher who's objective, that's where you end up. Like you leave the community and end up with something random like Gerald Massey's work. I mean, that's where you end up. Somewhere in a Black conscious community, somewhere doing some estranged stuff. That's where you end up, right? And when you ask me, do I plan to be in it for a long time? It's all up to Yah. That's my desire, right? That's all up to Yah. And despite all the objective information that I have brought to y'all, things I've discussed, I'm still here. You understand what I'm saying? And I didn't have no teacher. I didn't have no overseer. I didn't have no mentor. I didn't have any of that. All I had was Yah and his spirit and my hunger and desire to gain the wisdom necessary to maintain this walk. That's it. So Yah has put me in a position so that way I can counsel and disciple others so they can go further than me. Right now, I do have a few elders. I can count them on one hand that I highly respect in this community that I've taken knowledge and information from. You know what I'm saying? And advice from. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, coming into this, I did not have anybody to direct me, anybody to guide me, and I thank y'all that He got me to where I'm at. 10 years in His truth, to where I'm at, without veering off and deep diving into all types of estranged stuff, simply because I had an issue with somebody or some group or whatever, or it may be it may be like an issue with the morals and ethics of the Bible, like why God told the Israelites to go wipe out all these people, and why did Abraham tell his servant to put his hand on his thigh or grab his genitals. You know what I'm saying? Why the Bible got stuff in it like that? Well, if you read any work in ancient Near Eastern antiquity, there's that type of strange stuff too. Why? Because that is one culture that is extinct, is no longer here anymore. And we are in a culture 1,000 years later. The way that we perceive things is going to be different than the way they perceive things. That's why I tell you, if you really want to understand the Bible, you must learn about the customs, the practices, and the mannerisms. If you do not learn that as a foundational basis, when you come across some weird stuff, you will not have the lens necessary to see the text the way that the ancient writers saw the text. You're going to see it from a 21st century perspective, and you may be turned off by it. That's the problem. So I teach culture. That's the first part of our tagline, culture. Culture is the foundation for opening the text and unlocking spirituality, not religion. It's culture. That's why we like to reenact pre-exilic customs, the pre-exilic culture, because that's the state that we have contained prior to captivity, where we changed and shifted. First in the captivity being in Babylon, right? And creating works as a result of being in Babylon to counter the ideas in Babylon that the Israelites saw as taboo. And then going into the Persian captivity, more of a religion called Judaism had developed side to side with Zoroastrianism, right? Gave you a great source on that. And then transition from there, the Greeks and how the Greeks had influenced the Jews during that captivity, right? And the litany of works that was written during that Hellenistic because of the Hasmonean dynasty that was established by the Jews that afforded and allowed them to write their works without any means of consequences, negative consequences, right? And then lastly, the Roman. So looking at this, the best, most well-contained element of our culture and our heritage would be in the pre-exilic custom that goes from Abraham and it ends in 587 BCE. And again, if you learn the culture and you gross yourself with it, learning the language, the customs, the mannerisms, etc., right? Then nothing you come across in there is going to be strange. If you understand what literature is, which the Bible is, it's literature, right? It is a anthology of various genres of literary works, and you understand those things, you're not going to get turned off by it. If you're exposed to these things coming into the truth, or as you're developing on your path in this truth, then nothing nobody can say or nothing they show you can catch you off guard. People come on my show all the time thinking they have some kind of novel thing that I've never encountered before. I said, no, I've encountered it before. And then I got to correct them on some of the stuff. When you're at that point, at that level, right? When you're rooted in Yah and you have deep roots in Yah, doesn't matter what storm comes, right? No matter how many leaves or branches might break off, right? In the process of going through your trials and tribulations, you're still going to stand. After all you've done to stand, still stand. All praise to the Most High. All right. All right, let me see what's going on. I think y'all saying some more stuff. Um, what should you study before you attempt to study scripture? Culture, customs, practices, and mannerisms. And then once you get that, look at in the ancient Near East, blessings, prayers, and legal covenants and or treaties. Once you get that, then you go into the text historically. And once you get that historical knowledge, then you seek for the spiritual element. If you go into 1, 2, 3, 4 steps, by the time you get to the spirituality element, you've then perused through all the prior portions that is necessary for the foundation. Then you can really take off with Yah. I'm talking about rocket ship taking off. More than just mounting up with wings like eagles, rocket ship. You're going into a different stratosphere. And you'll be rooted and grounded. It takes some time, it takes some diligence, it takes some commitment, but it is worth every effort. All praise to the Most High. All right. All right, let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's what people say. I can't verify that they got him, so I can't verify that. But what I will say is that he didn't have the proper discipleship. That's why he's where he's at. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if I talk with the brother, I think that would be a great discussion. Because he can really test the things that he's saying on his channel, and I can give you a live apologetics and show you how it works one-on-one. But it's totally up to him, you know. We're gonna reach out to him sometime next month and see what he says. But if y'all can get to him before me, just let the brother know. We're ready. All right. Um, you say he wants no conversation. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Shout out to Tony Yaya Sharala Shalom King. My brother Jordan's cadet in the building. What's going on, King? One True Sky. Shalom, sis. Shalom. Pray all is well with you. Let me see. Who else is in here? Yakal Ibad. Hey, Divine. Do you have any books you could recommend for me on the customs and practices of pre-exilic Israel? Yes, I do. Let me see. Let me see what I can grab. You know what? I think the best, I'm gonna say it's the best book, but one of many books. Let me get this resource over here. Good resource over here. This one is called The Illustrated Guide to Bible Customs and Curiosities. More than 750 entries on why they did what they did. Excellent, excellent resource. and it's a nice little palm guide. See this? It goes through all the books of the Bible, and it points out some of the strange things that you encounter because you're not engulfed in the culture. This is one that I would recommend, right? You can get this from Amazon for like, it's like $7.99. This is a whole gem. Diamond in the rough for $7.99. If you want to get deeper than that, always recommend an atlas. It's always good to know the geography and topography of a particular region, why place names are named the way they are, what's relevance and importance. This is the Zondervan Essential Atlas of the Bible by Carl G. Rasmussen. Again, all of these resources you can check out on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. You can check it out from my library. All right. Also, you make me bring these books out, but it's all good. All right. Also, you have Nelson's Super Value Series, Illustrated Manners and Customs of the Bible, a fascinating guide to the Bible, its times, manners, and customs, over 6,000 topics covered, fully illustrated, comprehensive subject index included by J.J. Packer and M.C. Tenney. All right. You have this book here, Manners and Customs in the Bible, an illustrated guide to the daily life in Bible times, revised edition by Victor H. Matthews. Another one called The New Manners and Customs of Bible Times, full color edition of the 175,000 bestseller by Ralph Gower. You also got the Old School Customs and Mannerisms, Customs and Manners in the Bible by James Freeman. And then you also have, again, you can get all of this. Just type in culture, customs, practice, mannerisms in the Patreon, and you'll get access to my library and you'll be able to see all of this, right? There are other resources as well. One of them is called Daily Life in Ancient Israel. Let me see if I can get that one. People say, oh, all you got to do is read the Bible. That's what they say. And then I ask them certain questions and they can't answer it. It's fascinating. This is another good resource right here. This one is called The Lives of Ordinary People in Ancient Israel, Where Archaeology and the Bible Intersects by William G. Dever, right? Excellent resource. If you're looking for the foundation of culture and all of that. Another one that's my favorite. I'll end up in this last one. There's a lot of resources. I can't even get through all of them, but just join the Patreon, you'll see it. Yes, Tony, I definitely am tired. Shout out to my brother Randall Hall II. Thank you for the donation, King. We appreciate it. Yes, I'm extremely tired, but I'm pushing through for you guys and our preparation to head out to this trip on Saturday morning. Here's another one right here. Where's it at? Let me get this other one. Right, this other one is called Household and Family Religion. Towards a synthesis of Old Testament studies, archaeology, epigraphy, and cultural studies. Let me show that to you on the screen. Again, I created a repository on the Patreon. You can definitely check out all these resources, or you can always go back in the replay of the video, pause it, and get the information, right? Either search it up on our Patreon or you can buy it from yourself from Amazon, all right? Another great resource right here as well. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps. All right. All right. Let me see. Shout out to Chastity Collins in the building. Shalom. My brother AZ Bound the Third. Rooted and grounded here for show. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High. People are dealing with way too much fear to be objective. Practicing courage is a major key. I agree. And this is not for the faint of heart. So if that's you, this walk ain't for you. You ain't gonna go far. Shout out to Yamo, Yasharal, Shalom. Main man, what's going on, King? How do we heat food on the Sabbath without kindling a fire? Use modern technology. Electric stove. I don't use microwaves like that. Very rare. But you can use a microwave, right? That doesn't use fire. That use microwaves. Actually, what it uses, electric stoves use electricity instead of flames and fire. You can use an air fryer that does not use flames or fire either. The thing about the Sabbath is the act of preparation, right? So if you can have foods in advance already prepared for the Sabbat, you don't have to worry about kindling a fire. Nowadays, there's little to no effort to heat food up. In times past, it was a very grueling ordeal to prepare food. And Yah did not want that to be done on his Sabbath that he has given and entrusted to mankind to hollow it out in his name and for us to rest from our labors of 6 days of just laboring. So we can remember Yah and remember what he's done for us and the rest that he has given us. All right. So there's various things you can do in preparation. You can get creative. Sister One True Sky said, no hot food, sun dried at best, right? That's a great option as well if you're interested, right? As well. Or if you're growing your own food, all you got to do is pluck it and eat it. I'm not giving these aero gardens out for no reason. You know what I'm saying? So grow your own food. Do all the work and effort for it on 6 days. On the seventh day, eat from that labor, right? That's another thing that you can try even with your children so they can get accustomed to that, right? And the issue with a lot of us is that a lot of us was not born into this truth. So it takes whatever X amount of years that you wasn't in truth that you have to work out. I've been only been in truth 10 years. So I had 30 years of my life wasn't in the truth. Did something totally different. Now I have to go back and counter all the things that I've done, the way I live, what I thought. 30 years. I only got 10 years to counter that. So maybe when I'm 60, I'll have 30 more years that I can retrain myself, reorient myself, right? To counter all the habits and the old lifestyles and way of thinking. It takes time to purge that out. And the good thing is that Yah will help you if you so desire, right? You just have to know the proper approach to do so. Okay. Um, all right. Hopefully that answers your question. Let me see. Do tassels predate fringes? And if so, what sources provide that information? So, Gene, yes and no. So fringes has been around for a long period of time, right? We see Babylonians with them, Assyrians with them, Egyptians with them. So various cultures had fringes, right? When it comes to tassels, tassels also seen in the Mesopotamian culture. However, it is not the style of clothing per se, but the value, importance, and providence of why you have that distinction in clothing. For example, that ribbon of blue, right, is unique amongst the ancient Israelites. And again, that is how they stand out with that particular style. An example of that is that if I create jeans and in those jeans, I create a fifth pocket, they're still jeans, but they're fifth pocket, and I put it in a particular place. Let's say I put the fifth jean by the thigh socket because of Jacob resting with the messenger. And I say the reason why I have that on jeans, which jeans is apparent from all cultures, is because it goes back to a remembrance of a cultural element, right? So you can do that as well, right? So if you want sources on that, I think that's a good question. I'll do a post on that and throw it on the YouTube community tab, and you can read it there. I'll put a post or references to fringes. All right, just shoot me an email, remind me, and I got you. Okay. All right. No issue, sis. You good. You good. Let me see. Are you going to talk about Joseph's scrying as a form of divination? Divination is acceptable in Israelite culture if the entity you're divining to is Yod He Vav He or El Shaddai. So there's various forms of divination in ancient Israel culture. People practice divination today. Prayer is a form of divination, right? There's nothing wrong with divination as long as it's done to a particular deity, a patron deity. Now, when the Israelites do it outside of that formula, then that's when it becomes taboo. Okay. All right. Let me see. Yeah, so some say violet, and the reason for that is because there is a rare snail that produces a violet or purple color, and we see that a form of inking clothing was brought into Egypt in the Middle Kingdom by those in the northern part of the Levant. But then eventually the Phoenicians, they were the ones, the heaviest producers of this dye for clothing. And it was like a violet purplish color. Now, when it says what color is it, violet or purple, what I would say is it's the color in between, like indigo, right? It's like an indigo color, which can go for either purple or blue, right? But if you really want to be true to it, I would say utilize indigo, right? So hopefully that answers that question and it helps you out there. All right. Let me see. Yes, Archer. So you didn't hear what I said earlier, and what I said was that I have not shipped anything out yet because of a lot of obstructions that prevented me from doing so. So I do have all the boxes here, and I plan to get them out next week since I have some downtime because of the holidays. All right. So I did mention that. You probably didn't hear it, my brother. But yes, we got your email. My admins have made a note of it. They sent me reminders. So we'll definitely take care of that. Look, at KHM, we have tons of open roles. Members of KHM will be receiving new roles very soon. So be on the lookout for that so you can help us with things like order fulfillment and shipment so we can get them out much faster to the people and it's not relying on just one person, me. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a member of KHM and you want to assist with order fulfillment, please email us kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Let us know you want to help, and we'll definitely compensate you for your time and assistance. Okay. All right. So hopefully I answered that for you. Thank you, Jazz Evans, for the donation. I appreciate that. And yeah, man. All praise to the Most High. Did anybody have a last question I can answer real quick? Shout out to Gary Griffin Jr. in the building. Shalom. What's going on? Yep, no problem, Jose. I'm glad I was able to help with that. Let's see. Let me see. Any quick questions? Quick question. Last question. And I gotta check out. Last question. And if you're new, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you thumb up the video. Hit the share. This is not our normal Freestyle Fridays or Saturday Night Live. This is just a check-in session, which is typically quick and random. Not planned. Freestyle Friday is more planned. I have more resources in front of me that I can answer and address questions for you guys. But if you have anything else, let me know. Last question. Last question. Anybody? All right, Brandon, I'm gonna get yours since you asked the question. Would say divorce now is only acceptable if it's because of adultery. Is that what Yeshua was saying? All right. So, adultery is grounds for divorce, right? And that was at that time, it was grounds for divorce. Now we are in captivity. So there are other laws that are in place that also constitute what we now call divorce. Okay. So if it is serious grounds like domestic abuse, right? Adultery, right? People say adultery, domestic abuse, what it means, child predators, which can be male or female, by the way, or I don't know, something egregious, right? Then yes, those will all be grounds for divorce. I would say anything that is equated with a capital offense can also be grounds for divorce, right? Now, when Yeshua was speaking about adultery, the intention of marriage, when it's sanctioned by Yah, not by the state, and for the record, if you want to be culturally married, you should have a ketuvah. That is part of our culture. That is what we developed in captivity. So that way we can officiate our unions together. And if you're looking for one, you can get it from our Patreon page, www.patreon.com. Click on the shop button and you'll be able to see a custom ketuvah that we've created for the community. All right. So the intention was flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. The two shall be one, echad. If they are grouped together under the auspices of our culture. Our culture now has become cultural mandates and not theocratic laws because we're in captivity. And that binding is one before Yah. When you are bound by marriage in the secular sense, it is by the state and a Christian pastor. Typically, most Black people go through a Christian pastor and the state. There's no ketuva. You have a contract with the state. And there's nothing wrong with having a contract with the state if you so choose, but you also need that reassurance that you are abiding under the terms and conditions of Torah to be sanctioned, have a sanctioned marriage, or become echad under the auspices and oversight of the Most High Yah. That's very important. So I want you to understand that. So contracting with the state, there are stipulations. So if you're married and you're looking for a divorce and that marriage happened as the state was the officiant over the marriage, whether you went to the justice of peace or whether you had an agent of the state, which is a pastor, Christian pastor, that officiated it, you are now in pact with the state. So the state has its laws and bylaws that dictates what divorce is. So typically you'll see our counterparts in the Jewish community, what they do is they marry culturally first before that cultural marriage is sanctioned by the state. And they get it sanctioned by the state to get the state benefits. And that's what most people do. Most people yield their God given rights over to the state for a benefit that the state is handing you. Now, there's nothing wrong if you choose to do that. What I'm saying is you should be culturally bounded by Yah, which should be the foundation for your marriage, for your union, before getting a second witness, which is the state, to co-sign on it. That's very important because the terms and conditions for the ketuvah is based on Torah. The terms and conditions for your state-sponsored marriage is based on state law. Make sure you understand that. So when you ask about divorce, if you have a state-sponsored marriage, then they set the terms and conditions that what divorce is, and it varies from state to state. When it comes to Torah, it's very specific. So what you've done is not only are you, if you're culturally married via ketuvah, right, is it predicated on just adultery and anything that's wrapped or intertwined with that, that is a capital offense according to the cultural mandates that we use today called Torah, right? It stipulates that. But because we're in captivity and we are encouraged to get state contracts to officiate, oversee, and adjudicate over matters as it pertains to our marriages, they also have extenuating stipulations that determine what are grounds for divorce. So they're overlapping or they intertwine at various places, right? So that's very important. It's all on the terms and conditions in which you got married. And this is very important to understand in order to navigate it appropriately. Back in those times, somebody said Yeshua, that's the first century CE, right? One of the things that the Romans did was they wanted to outlaw polygyny that the Jews were still practicing at that time. So they offered them a state benefit, citizens, Roman citizenship to be married. You ever wonder why Paul didn't get married? Paul tells you it's because, he can be bound to, yeah. But Paul was a Roman citizen, officially a Roman citizen. You ever wonder why in the Pauline pastoral epistles, he says the husband of one wife? That's predicated on Roman law because the people he was talking to, right, the two, Titus and Timothy, right, who's going out and creating and setting up shop, they were citizens. They were all Roman citizens. So Paul also says in Romans chapter 13, let's go to Romans. Y'all think I'm just on here just talking. I'm giving y'all stuff to ponder, to think, to contemplate on, to muse over. Romans 13. This is what Paul is saying now. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that a lot of y'all, a lot of us, I'm not even going to say y'all because in some elements of my life, I'm intertwined with this too, right? This is what the text says. It says, let every person be subject to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. Therefore, whoever resists the authorities resists what God has appointed, and those who resist will incur judgment. For rulers are not a terror to good conduct, but to bad. And that's not always true, but I digress. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. The thing about this that I say all the time, right? Two things. Number one, never give anyone a valid reason to say no. That's number one. And number two, when it comes to this, I just forgot number two. Whoa, it just left my mind. I was thinking about 10,000 different things after that. When it comes to this, good conduct, your conduct is there to disprove and to reveal wickedness. You have a moral standard, obligation, and ethical uh aura to how you carry yourself, right? Which will determine how the authorities deal with you. You must be blameless in every situation as much as possible. And when you are, you will convict the righteousness within secular authorities in order for them to carry out judgments against that which is bad, evil, and wicked, that which is an abomination. The problem is we don't understand this. And Christianity causes Black culture to intertwine and acculturate with the secular society. Hence why we don't get respect. Hence why gossip is now the thing. All these podcasts and stuff is created off of gossip, and Yah detests gossip. So what we've done is we say, Black Christians, oh, we love God, and then you go and you gossip. Oh, we love God and not go and celebrate Halloween. Oh, I love God, and you do all these things where you are compromising, which means when it comes time for the secular authorities for them to issue or dish out the judgment against that which is wicked, there's no need for them to do that because you are intertwined with the wicked. There's no distinction between you and the wicked. Y'all look the same. See, when we keep Torah, the way we walk, the way we dress, the way we talk, our swag, our aura, everything is distinct. And everything that we do and how we do it is there to invoke the righteousness and those who are secular, so they must judge righteously. But it's not a lot of us out there walking and talking like that to invoke and convict the secular realm of righteousness. That was one of the jobs of the Spirit that Yeshua talked about. It was to convict the world of unrighteousness, the Spirit, which is supposed to be permeating through you, overflowing out of you. But because we don't understand our culture, we're not engrossed in it. We're not walking circumspectly and distinct amongst our peers. This is why the righteousness that needs to be invoked and those who are secular to carry out this judgment is not occurring. You have not been transformed. But anyway, for he is God's servant for your good. The only way they can be your servant for your good is if you walk blameless. But that doesn't mean it's going to work in your favor every time, because you will be persecuted. That comes along with the program too. But what I'm trying to show you is when you ask about marriage, why Paul is saying if somebody's going to lead a congregation, they must be the husband of one wife. That was a benefit of Roman citizenship, which Paul appealed to when he was about to get flogged and beat unjustly. For he is the servant of God, an avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Therefore, one must be in subjugation, not only to avoid God's wrath, hence why you walk blameless, but also for the sake of conscience. You see, when you walk blameless, you invoke the righteousness and convict the wickedness and the secular authorities to rule on your behalf. You are carrying out the will of Yah. You see that? But you must be distinct. If you're not distinct, you all look the same. Okay. All right. I'm gonna yield there because there's a lot more I can go in with that, but we're gonna fall back. I'm gonna close out on that. It's a lot right there. I'm gonna close out on that. All right. So Stay tuned this weekend. If I have time, I will go live. If I have time, it probably won't happen tomorrow, but maybe Saturday or Sunday. Y'all willing, y'all keep me in prayer that I will be live. Again, if y'all gonna be in Tampa this weekend, I look forward to meeting those of y'all who are gonna be in Tampa this weekend. I will be there on Saturday at the conference. So look forward to seeing you there, those who show up. If you want to support this ministry, all that information is scrolling across at the bottom. If you want to get some insight and take a look at those resources that was presented, sign up for our Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. If there's anything that we can do to serve you, please email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. If you have a need, if you have a business or anything that you want showcase, exposed to the community so they can support, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. All right. So thank you guys for your time. I appreciate that. My brother Jordan's King Dead, as always, with his insightful comments. I appreciate that, my brother. Let me see if I missed anybody else in our roll call. Shout out to Lisa Marie Anderson, my brother Ha Kodesh Management, Shalom. J Lockhart 25, Shalom. Let me see. Anybody else I missed? The Black Yoshi Game Channel, Shalom King. What's going on? And I think that is everybody. I think that's everybody. Okay. So I appreciate you for your time. Look forward to seeing you on the next live stream. And those of you who are going to be in Tampa this weekend, I pray for your safe arrival, safe departure. Hopefully you enjoy the edification coming out of the conference. Much love, family. Is any other events that's going on in the community, please email it to me, kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, so I can appear there. And also, we offer a plethora of services. You'll see some of the services and products and programs we offer in the description below. And if you want further increase to what we offer to community, just email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. And if you have any ideas that you want us to work on that could bring a benefit and nurturement and preparation to the community, we all here with it. And one of the last things that I want to say is that I'm working on I guess it'll be a post on self-defense, home defense. Does the Bible support self-defense and home defense? Does the Bible support that? Fascinating. Stay tuned for that, family. Love y'all. Thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you guys soon. Peace and shalom. Peace and shalom, family. Look forward to seeing you again.